all stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation. All persons having any business before this honorable court now draw nigh. Give your attendance, and you shall be heard.
Admission of lawyers. Marissa Rebecca Aragona.
May it please the court, I move that Marissa Rebecca Aragona be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Marissa Rebecca Aragona be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Daniel Atia.
May it please the court, I move that Daniel Atia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Daniel Atia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Adam Nasir Atia.
May it please the court, I move that my brother, Adam Atia, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Adam Nasser Atia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Stephen David Austin.
May it please the court, I move that Stephen David Austin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Stephen David Austin be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ryan Terence Balkin.
May it please the court, I move that Ryan Terence Balkin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Ryan Terence Balkin be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hiam Bargashun.
May it please the court,
Oh.
I move that Hiam
Register.
be
We have a mover.
May it please the court, I move that Hiam Bargashun be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Hiam Bargashun be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Richard Tristan Bosel.
May it please the court, I move that the best employee of JC Legal Practice in year 2021, Richard Tristan Bosel, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Richard Tristan Bosel be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kyle Andrew Bowles.
May it please the court, I move that Kyle Andrew Bowles be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Kyle Andrew Bowles be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Heather Ann Burton.
May it please the court, I move that Heather Ann Burton be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Heather Ann Burton be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Min Sung Chu.
May it please the court, I move that Min Sung Chu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Min Sung Chu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Laura Louise Cooley.
May it please the court, I move that Laura Louise Cooley be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Laura Louise Cooley be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Bianca Ellen Cross.
May it please the court, I move that Bianca Ellen Cross be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Bianca Ellen Cross be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tony Dawood.
May it please the court, I move that Tony Dawood be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tony Dawood be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ernest De La Cuera.
May it please the court, I move that Ernest de la Cuera be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ernest De La Cuera be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elissa Laura Dring.
May it please the court, I move that Alyssa Laura Dring be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alyssa Laura Dring be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cordelia Lily Evans.
May it please the court, I move that Cordelia Lily Evans be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cordelia Lily Evans be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sam Timothy Finlayson.
May it please the court, I move that my son, Sam Timothy Finlayson, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sam Timothy Finlayson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sydney Ashley Garrett.
May it please the court, I move that Sydney Ashley Garrett be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Sydney Ashley Garrett be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nishan Singh Gilmison.
May it please the court, I move that Nishan Singh Gilmison be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Nishan Singh Gilmission be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Callum John Glendinning.
May it please the court, I move that my son, Callum John Glendinning, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Callum John Glendinning be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mary Gabriel.
May it please the court, I move that Mary Gabrielle be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Mary Gabriel be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ryan K. Gubran.
May it please the court, I move that Ryan Gubran be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Ryan K. Gubran be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Janie Harb.
May it please the court, I move that Janie Harb be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Janie Harb be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Corinna Jane Harris.
May it please the court, I move that Karina Jane Harris be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Karina Jane Harris be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Charlotte Grace Hines.
May it please the court, I move that Charlotte Grace Hines be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Charlotte Grace Hines be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Erica Joan Hodgkinson.
May it please the court, I move that my daughter, Erica Joan Hodgkinson, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Erica Joan Hodgkinson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Bassem Ibrahim.
May it please the court, I move that Bassem Ibrahim be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable
That
court.
Bassem Ibrahim be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tamanau Jaliar.
May it please the court, I move that Tamanau Jaliar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Tamanau Jaliar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Saira Khan.
May it please the court, I move that Sira Khan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Sarah Khan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shuk Ki Becky Kwan.
May it please the court, I move that Shuki Becky Kwan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Shuki Becky Kwan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Farhat Lamia.
May it please the court, I move that Farhat Lamia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Farhat Lamia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elizabeth Grace Laurie.
May it please the court, I move that Elizabeth Grace Laurie be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Elizabeth Grace Laurie be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Aran Matkevich.
May it please the court, I move that Aaron Matkevich be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Aaron Matkovic be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Caitlin Jane Anthea Mills.
May it please the court, I move that Caitlin Jane Anthea Mills be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Caitlin Jane Anthea Mills be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tamika Simone Monaghan.
May it please the court, I move that my sister Tamika Simone Monaghan be admitted as the lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tamika Simone Monaghan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jordan Stewart Morris.
Please the court, I move that Jordan Stewart Morris be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jordan Stewart Morris be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sean David Lawrence Zabo.
May it please the court, I move that Sean David Lawrence Sabo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sean David Lawrence Sabo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Andelaine Joy Newman.
May it please the court, I move that Andelaine Joy Newman be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Andelaine Joy Newman be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lachlan Matthew O'Neill.
May it please the court, I move that Lachlan Matthew O'Neill be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lachlan Matthew O'Neill be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michael Adrian Christopher Oosterman Thomas.
Your Honour, Michael is my son. He is a twin. His twin brother is seated next to him. I'm just wondering whether we can break with tradition and move them both together.
We'll move them sequentially. Thank you. So do you move?
I move. I move that Michael Adrian Christopher Oosterman Thomas be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Michael Adrian Christopher Oosterman Thomas be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alexander Nicholas Wrigley Oosterman Thomas.
May it please the court, I move that Alexander Nicholas Wrigley Oosterman Thomas be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Alexander Nicholas Wrigley Oosterman Thomas be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maxine Philippa Rennie.
May it please the court, I move that Maxine Philippa Rennie be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Maxine Philippa Rennie be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Federico Caicedo Rivera.
May it please the court, I move that Federico Caicedo Rivera be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Federico Caicedo Rivera be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brianna Rose Summerton.
May it please the court, I move that Brianna Rose Summerton be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Brianna Rose Summerton be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Catherine Yan Mei Teo.
May it please the court, I move that Catherine Yan Mei Teo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Catherine Yan Mei Teo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Harut Harry Topuzian.
May it please the court, I move that Harut Harry Tapuzian be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Harut Harry Tapuzian be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Daniel Trajanowski.
May it please the court, I move that Daniel Trajanowski be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Daniel Trajanowski be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Linda Nok Tuet Lin Tran.
May it please the court, I move that Linda Nyok Tuyet Lin Tran be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Linda Nyok Tuet Lin Tran be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
David James Walsh.
May it please the court, I move that David James Walsh be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let David James Walsh be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kainam Michael Jung.
May it please the court, I move that my brother Kainam Michael Young be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kainam Michael Jung be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Dan Zhang.
May it please the court, I move that Dan Zhang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Dan Zhang be admitted as a lawyer of this court. I also admit as lawyers of the court the following persons who have completed a special process for admission in absentia. Nadira Raj Kumar, Dan Zhu, and Yu Zhang. It will now be necessary for those whose admission as applicants whose admission has just been moved to stand as and when directed and remain standing for the purposes of swearing an oath or making a declaration and affirmation. So please stand as directed by the officiating officer.
Could the first two rows on my right please stand up? Marissa Rebecca Aragona, Daniel Atia, Adam Nasir Atia, Stephen David Austin, Ryan Terence Bolkin, Hiam Bargashun, Richard Tristan Bosel, Kyle Andrew Bowles, Heather Ann Burton, Min Sung Chu, Laura Louise Cooley, Bianca Ellen Cross, Tony Dawood, Ernest Delaquera, Elissa Laura Dring, Cordelia Lily Evans. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability. Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Thank you. Please sit down. With the next two rows, please stand up. Sam Timothy Finlayson, Sydney Ashley Garrett, Nishan Singh Gilmison, Callum John Glendenning, Mary Gabrielle, Ryan K. Gabran, Janie Harb, Corina James Harris, Charlotte Grace Hines, Erica Joan Hodgkinson, Bassem Ibrahim, Tamanau Jaliar, Saira Khan, Shukki Becky Kwan, Farhat Lamia, Elizabeth Grace Laurie, Aaron Matkevich, Caitlin Jane Anthea Mills, Tamika Simone Monahan, Jordan Stewart Morris, Sean David Lawrence Zabo. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Thank you. Please sit down. Would the two rows on my left please stand up? Andelaine Joy Newman, Lachlan Matthew O'Neill, Michael Adrian Christopher Oosterman Thomas, Alexander Nicholas Wrigley Oosterman Thomas, Maxine Philippa Rennie, Federico Caicedo Rivera, Brianna Rose Summerton, Catherine Yan Mei Teo, Harut Harry Tupuzian, Daniel Trajanowski, Linda Noktuet Lin Tran, David James Walsh, Kainam Michael Jung, Dan Zhang. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? So help me God. Thank you. Please sit down.
Well, may I warmly welcome you all to this, the Banco Court of the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today to my right is Justice Adamson, who is a judge of the Court of Appeal, and to my left, Justice Rothman, very senior judge of the Common Law Division of the court. Together, we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice today. We've done so sitting on the land for which the Gadigal of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians for thousands of years. And the court pays its sincere respects to elders past and present and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. I also acknowledge, present with us on the bench today is Her Honour Judge Hopkins, a judge of the District Court of New South Wales, and we're delighted she is able to sit with us this morning. To all the newly admitted lawyers, welcome to the legal profession. Today is one for great celebration. We up here on the bench know how hard you have all worked to get here. It is a memory that never really leaves you. I'm also pleased to welcome those with you today or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends will have been invaluable on your journey thus far. No doubt they've also been on the receiving end of your finely polished or perhaps emerging skills of argument and persuasion, and I encourage you to take the time to thank them today. Depending on how good an advocate you are, you might even convince them to shout you to a long and civilised lunch. The timing of this particular ceremony is perfectly suited for that goal. In being admitted as a lawyer of this court, you join an honourable and ancient profession with the custom of advocates swearing an oath on admission to practice, dating back as far as the 12th century. And this court first admitted lawyers in 1824, nearly 200 years ago. And by 1830, the names of lawyers were entered onto the rolls in the state, just as you will do immediately after this ceremony. It is in acknowledgement of the weighty responsibility that you have sworn to undertake that we observe today's unique formalities, including the fact that your admission has been moved by someone who is already a member of the legal profession, and that you have made a formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers. They are all therefore witnesses to the promises and undertakings you have publicly and solemnly made this morning. In terms of tradition and formality, you will see from portraits of former Chief Justices around the walls of this court that we are wearing the same robes, in some cases literally, as have been worn by our predecessors. We don't wear them because they're particularly comfortable, particularly in summer, but we wear them because symbolically they highlight the continuity of the rule of law in New South Wales, although the judges wearing the robes are now drawn from an increasingly diverse pool. As to continuity of the rule of law, we live in a world where there is much global uncertainty and insecurity, and the rule of law is more important than ever, and not simply a matter of some theoretical import or academic interest. The rule of law is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. And we know from a survey of the globe that there is nothing theoretical about those risks to democracy. Now, the practice of the law and the law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you all in many different directions and along different career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the oath or affirmation that you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, a Crown Law Office, the Aboriginal Legal Service, a government department or agency, or indeed in an entirely different field, you should be known and always be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice, and you must strive at all times to uphold these cardinal values. Notwithstanding the formality and tradition attending this ceremony, and to which I've already referred, not everything in the legal profession remains static or unchanging. For example, the rapid technological shift brought about or hastened, at least by the pandemic, has had profound and ongoing implications for the way that our legal system interacts with members of the community, and has also developed greater workplace flexibility for practitioners, particularly for those with family responsibilities and in remote communities. But while the increased use of technology offers a number of real advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its core. An essential part of being a good lawyer is understanding people, how others react to different situations, perform under pressure, and deal with each other. There have, of course, been other very important changes in the legal profession that deserve attention, in addition to those technological changes to which I've referred. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, there is a duality. We have come, on the one hand, a long way in many respects, but more needs to be done. One notable example relates to the role of female lawyers. In New South Wales, until 1918, women were not even permitted to practice law in this state. And for many years thereafter, although being legally able to do so, they struggled to be accepted into the legal profession. Happily, those times have changed and changed significantly. Since 2018, female lawyers have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practising certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 2/3 of solicitors under the age of 30. And some of the most senior positions in the law in Australia today are held by distinguished female lawyers, including the current Chief Justices of the High Court, the Federal Court, of the Supreme Courts of Victoria, Queensland and the ACT. Our own President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Julie Ward, is a very distinguished and experienced lawyer. And the positions of the State's Director of Public Prosecutions, Senior Public Defender, as well as the presidents of the New South Wales Bar Association and the Law Society, those positions are all held by, as I say, distinguished female lawyers. So much has changed on the gender side of the profession. But there should also be strong representation of lawyers from the many different backgrounds which comprise our rich and cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system can and feel that they can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system that is reflective of and in touch with our broader community. The admissions ceremonies on which I have sat since becoming a judge almost 5 years ago, including this ceremony, highlight that there is a far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than when we all commenced practice. And that's a very good thing, and leaders of the profession and indeed of the courts are working hard to foster inclusiveness and diversity. That in turn builds trust in and respect for both the judiciary and the legal profession, and in turn ultimately engenders respect for the rule of law. So let me now offer a little bit of professional and personal advice. As a lawyer, you will often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools that you have developed to think critically and not compromise, never compromise, on your fundamental duties to the court and to the broader administration of justice. At various points of your career, you will inevitably make mistakes, some minor, some perhaps more serious. We all do and have made mistakes from time to time. The important thing is that if and when you do make mistakes, that your commitment to honesty, integrity and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from such mistakes. But one mistake I would advise you all embarking in your careers not to make, never to make, which is to give your clients the advice you think that they want to hear. That will not be good advice, and they will not welcome it in the long run when the true picture emerges. Part of being a professional lawyer is giving frank and fearless advice, even if it is not pleasing to the person who seeks it. Being a lawyer means that you are now an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate, whether in court or not. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you are not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but the law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer will, in many cases, be an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge or crisis, affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being, or health or financial position. For these reasons, you must always strive to deliver legal services not only competently and fearlessly, but always with courtesy, integrity, respect, and sensitivity to the circumstances of the matter. And you must conduct yourself in the profession with civility. Aspects of the law, especially if you're involved in the litigation side of practice, are necessarily confrontational. But the practice of the law can be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load, as unfortunately it does from time to time. It is essential that you maintain and strive to maintain your detachment, balance, and good humour, remembering at all times that you are members of a profession and not a business, an important distinction to bear in mind. And remember this: the best advocates can and do make their point simply and succinctly. Often, less is more. Now, some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder from time to time, and I don't wholly exclude myself from that, although I do, of course, exclude Justice Adamson and Justice Rothman. For a non-lawyer, law is frequently incomprehensible, difficult to understand. One of your roles, one of your important roles as a lawyer, will be to make the law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes by simply getting to the bottom of a messy factual situation and putting it in its proper legal context. So strive to be clear and concise at all times in both your writing and your speaking. To do so facilitates access to justice. In the practice of the law, your physical and mental health are both extremely important, something we recognise much more keenly today than perhaps in the past. There may, and I dare say will be, times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. Now, that's often because lawyers are well motivated and wish to do the best for their clients, wish to have the matter fully prepared, wish the advice to be as comprehensive as possible, and those traits are all admirable, but they can take over. As I say, the practice of the law can become all-consuming. So you must work hard to keep your balance and to keep your eye out to ensure that your colleagues do so as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly we all have from time to time and probably still do, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective. You should also know and remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession. And in this context, it's my pleasure now to call upon two young representatives of the profession, one from the New South Wales Bar Association and one from the Law Society of New South Wales, to offer brief words of congratulations and encouragement. Ms Aitken, do you move?
May it please the court. My name is Emily Aitken, and I have been practicing for 1 year at the bar, predominantly in the areas of employment, industrial and work health and safety law. On behalf of the New South Wales Bar Association, I welcome you to the legal profession. The legal profession is an old profession based on precedent and the rule of law, while also being a profession that grows and develops to adapt to new practices and technologies, and importantly, to society's values as they change over time. For several decades now, the composition of lawyers and barristers in New South Wales has changed to better reflect the community. The bar today is a welcoming place for people of all genders and backgrounds. It is an honour to be a lawyer and, in my case, a barrister, and I am proud to be a member of the legal profession. I enjoy the intellectual challenge of my job and that it allows me to give expert advice, represent people in court, and to contribute to society in a meaningful way. If you are interested in coming to the bar, you can contact the New South Wales Bar Association or have a look at its website. And each year there is a Career at the Bar open day. In your first year of practice as a reader, you receive particular assistance from two barristers of at least 7 years seniority. who meet with you weekly, review your work, and teach you practical skills. But the support you will receive at the bar is not limited to those two barristers. The bar is renowned for its collegiality, especially in chambers. There are also opportunities to become involved in the work of the New South Wales Bar Association, which is the professional body that supports barristers and has a range of committees, including a New Barristers Committee, which organises social and educational functions for 0 to 5 year barristers like me, and a Diversity and Equality Committee, which promotes one of the key strategic goals of the New South Wales Bar Association: to attract the best people to become barristers, regardless of their race, religion, gender, parental status, or sexual preference. Whether as a lawyer or a barrister, I encourage you to get involved in the Law Society or Bar Association and to use your skills to assist your community. It is a rewarding experience to practice in connection with others in your profession. Once again, on behalf of the New South Wales Bar Association, I welcome you to the legal profession and I congratulate you on your admission today as a lawyer of this honourable court. May it please the court.
Ms. Zaney, do you move?
May it please the court. My name is Myrna Zaney, and not so long ago, I stood where you are standing today, and what a day it is for all of you. You are here today being admitted to the Supreme Court role as the final step in a long and arduous journey. You should all feel immensely proud of what you've achieved so far. When I embarked on my career as a solicitor, I had no real idea of what to expect. It was not always easy, and often it was overwhelming. But as I stand here today after 4 years of practicing as a criminal lawyer, I can tell you that I've already learned a thing or two. One of the most important things I've learned is the importance of belonging to a profession. The legal profession is an increasingly large and diverse community, and it's one to which you now belong. The Law Society of New South Wales is the home of that profession, with 30,000 members flung far and wide across the state. We are bound by our shared duties, our commitment to continuous learning, our desire to connect, our drive to give back to the community and to uphold the rule of law. As an early career lawyer, belonging to a strong network of peers is critical. This is why I have been a part of the Law Society of New South Wales Young Lawyers branch for 2 years. Here, I have found friendship, inspiration, guidance and support when I needed it the most, as well as opportunities to advocate and join committees. By joining the Law Society and New South Wales Young Lawyers, you'll gain access to professional support, conferences, professional development and mentoring opportunities, a wide range of publications, and so much more. It is the role of the Law Society to ensure that you, as newly minted solicitors, can thrive and succeed in your new profession. So again, congratulations. You can look us up online or speak to your employer about joining the Law Society. We look forward to welcoming you to the Law Society community. May it please the court.
Well, can I say this to you all in closing? The law is a wonderful profession. It's stimulating, it's challenging, satisfying, and it's populated by intelligent, committed, and dynamic people such as yourselves. You should be proud to be a lawyer. You should be proud of your achievements to date and the profession you have just joined. It is a very important profession that underpins stability and cohesion in our community. You are now a very important part of that very important profession. So work hard, take pride in your work, look out for your colleagues, contribute to the wider community, and don't take yourself too seriously. We wish you all the very best of luck on the exciting journey that lies ahead and a full and rewarding career. So on behalf of Justice Adamson, Justice Rothman and our colleagues on the Supreme Court, I once again congratulate you on your admission this morning and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned.